brought to you by stationhousecoffee.com and Amazon Prime.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
From Dusk Till Dawn, movie that came out in 1996, screenplay written by Quentin Tarantino, directed by Robert Rodriguez, and both before they blew up, their careers blew up, way before Grindhouse. But you still kind of get that feeling. Like, Robert Rodriguez has like a style to his filmmaking, like just a fun, big action style, really good camera motions. This really gets you in. Really well paced, also edited by Robert Rodriguez. But the screenplay by Tarantino. Tarantino also acting in this one, probably his biggest acting role in anything. He plays the brother of George Clooney, who's the star, who's playing probably the most badass George Clooney character ever. They're both broke out of prison. I think they robbed a bank, and they're on the run. That's kind of how the movie starts. They're on the run. They have somebody kidnapped in the back of their car, which, driving through the desert, being in the back of like an old muscle car seems like a great place to die. Somehow she survives, though. She gets dumped off at a motel where they change and they carjack, RV jack, I should say. Harvey Keitel is on a trip with his kids, an adopted son, I think. I don't know. They never really go into it, but he's got a Chinese son and then a daughter who's played by Juliette Lewis. And they get RV jacked by these just psycho brothers that are trying to get away, trying to get into Mexico. Meanwhile, the Harvey Keitel character, he's former priest, lost faith in religion after his wife died. And he's just, I forget where, if they were going or coming from somewhere specific. But really, like, the first half of this movie is just really intense. I mean, it starts off with this liquor store scene, convenience store scene, where a police officer comes into this convenience store to just, shoot the shit with the clerk and, take a piss or whatever. And when he goes to take a piss, that's when you first see Clooney and Tarantino come out, and they're like already there. And they're, just like, why didn't you get rid of them? And all this kind of shit. That scene is crazy, right? Crazy scene. Then you get to see them kind of go, and just how that building explodes is probably one of the best building explosions in a movie. Like, usually movie building explosions, they're just like one giant fireball. This was like stages. This was like the end fireworks show in some ways of building explosions for a movie, where there's just like debris is flying. Not every explosion has a giant fireball. It's like probably one of the more realistic explosions where like you can tell different things are kind of exploding. Great scene, intense. There's a lot of tension in this scene, and the movie just moves. It's like a solid 2-hour runtime, or it's an hour 48, so just under 2 hours, but it moves, man. You get to see that, and then you go and they're RV jacking. You get to see the Border Patrol, where the first time you see Cheech Marin, who plays 3 different characters in this movie. He's a Border Patrol, and kind of unrecognizable, like the 3 different characters. If you know, then you can see it. But I didn't realize that he played 3. I just remember him as the guy outside the titty twister, talking about all the different kinds of pussy you can get inside. It's been a long time since I watched this movie. And when I watched this movie, I don't know if I liked it as much. I still don't necessarily. It's not one of my favorite of either of their movies. Some people love this Tarantino movie, which I get. I get it. I wouldn't consider this a Tarantino movie, even though he did the screenplay. I mean, the writing is great. The characters are interesting. So they get the RV. There you have the tense scene in the Border Patrol, right, where you have both of the brothers in the bathroom with Juliette Lewis, and the brother and Harvey Keitel at the front, and they fuck up because he doesn't say his daughter's there, and then there's a noise or whatever. So they come in, they survive, they get through. Just like, and plus during that you get to see just how what a horrible person Tarantino's character is. Like they show early on, there's a news broadcast where you kind of find out a little backstory on these guys, and you find out that George Clooney's brother, played by Tarantino, is like, he's like a pedophile. He's just like a horrible, just a horrible person, just a horrible person. Like there's some people that are just broken mentally and just dangerous, evil people, and that's kind of what Tarantino plays. And the way it's filmed, like he's like the creepiest creep ever, right? Like Robert Rodriguez filming Tarantino being creepy is probably one of the most real things that just what, like almost too much. So you see like the Tarantino creep, you see the kind of the brother thing. So they go and they're supposed to meet at this place called the Titty Twister. That's where Tarantino and Clooney are meeting with whoever to drop off whatever. And it's this crazy biker, just like bar out in the middle of nowhere. Got like semis parked outside, motorcycles parked at the front. You go in, you got topless women dancing. So it's kind of like has a strip club kind of vibe, but also, there's live music, kind of this like Mexican rock music, like a mariachi rock. I don't know how you would categorize it. Danny Trejo plays like the bartender. And a young Danny Trejo. It's amazing how Danny Trejo was like young in this movie, and then somehow in like all of his other movies seems like he was like the same age. But this was before he aged, apparently. But he's great in it. You get to see like once the sun goes down, and the title of the movie kind of opens up, and you see what this movie's about. How it's like a vampire. Like the Titty Twister is like a vampire feeding ground, right? It's just a place where they only have bikers and truckers in there, probably people that nobody's really gonna miss. Go there, and then that's how they feed. So once the feeding starts, and you like see people start transitioning into the vampires, it's a fun action scene, but the prosthetics and the costuming do not hold up at all. I don't know if they held up back then watching this on VHS. Maybe the lower quality of video would kind of make up for it, but it is not good. The transition scenes where the vampires die and kind of like melt/burn up just doesn't. It looks super dated. But the characters are fun. Like one of them was like Sex Machine, just some fucking Mexican dude with a handlebar mustache and a whip for some reason. And then there's this other black dude who looks like I don't know, Fred Williams, Frost. I don't know if he was in anything. It seems like he was in like Commando or something like that. No, it doesn't look like it. MASH, Dusk Till Dawn. I'm not going to read that title. But yeah. So kind of interesting characters when like people are dying and only a few people are left. I'm in it. It's like exciting. The tension leading up to, the first half of this movie is like this tension of like trying to get into Mexico, trying to get to this place. And then once they get to this place, it's just like that was the wrong place to go. And just fun action moments. There's a scene where like a dude tears a heart out of one of them, and they kill it by stabbing the heart with a pencil, which I thought was fun. But then there's this scene where they're kind of like overwhelmed. They're running back. They're falling back into like a back storage area. Harvey Keitel's still alive, although he just got bit. But for some reason, like some people transition a lot faster than other people, so whatever. The rules of this universe aren't clearly established. But Harvey Keitel knows about how much time he has. So he tells his kids, like, you gotta kill me. Once you see me start transitioning, you need to kill me. But he's like a former priest, so it's like he's got all this. All he needs to do is bless water, and he's got weapons. So they fall back into this room where they got a bunch of stuff, and one of the weapons, for some reason, is like this jackhammer with a wooden spike on it, which doesn't make any sense. There's some water guns, and they fill up some condoms with water that get blessed or whatever. And then they come out, and they go they leave and they all these vampires are at the end of the hall, so they go out through the hallway back into the open thing. Right now, if I was going to plan an attack, I'm stuck in this bar in a storeroom with actual weapons and stuff, and they need to get to me, right? They need to get to me. I'm for sure trying to kill as many of them in that hallway before they. And it's like you have this room. It's like just put the fucking jackhammer thing and then squirt water, this holy water, all around. Just burn up that entire hallway with vampires. So the fact that they get out of the hallway to go fight everybody, I mean, I get it cinematically, like it's easier to film action scenes if you're in a wide open space or whatever, but just it didn't, like, strategically, I was like, well, okay, I get it. It's a 90s action movie. This is like a little bit of bad writing, but you know, the end was pretty great where, you know, a lot of people die. A lot of people just don't survive. And then Clooney and Juliette Lewis are the only survivors. You know, days come in and the person that they're dropping money off with or sharing the profits with for some reason shows up, and that's the third character that Cheech Marin plays. But yeah, just a fun movie, fun to revisit. Really well done up until, you know, some of the costuming and special effects don't hold up. But other than that, a fun movie and just kind of a stressful ride. Let's put it that way. A stressful horror ride that, you know, it was fun to revisit. It's fun to revisit and see. And I enjoyed it. So go check it out if you're. And the last scene is like they pull back. Everybody, like Juliette Lewis leaves in the RV. She, you know, they hooked her up with some money, and George Clooney leaves. Everybody kind of leaves this place like, oh, this is a horrible place to do this. Like, why? This is why. Pulls back, and you see that the bar was actually the top of like a Mayan temple, and in the like down on the other end, the backside of it, you just see rubble and just like all these trucks and things where they just dispose of all of the dead people that show up for the feeding. Pretty interesting. There was also a show, which I don't think I ever saw the show, but I guess it would be interesting to see more of that universe, I guess. I don't know where the show goes, but it is a fun movie. Be sure to support our sponsors, stationhousecoffee.com and Station House Coffee on Instagram for small batch, single origin, premium coffee brewed in Vermont, shipped directly to you. Support small business. Order coffee, amazing coffee, from stationhousecoffee.com and follow Station House Coffee on Instagram. Also, Amazon Prime. Get 30 days free of Amazon Prime. Go to my link, inspireddisorder.com/Prime to get your 30 days free. Amazon Prime. Instantly watch thousands of movies and TV shows. Borrow Kindle books. Unlimited free. 2-day shipping. inspireddisorder.com/Prime is where you get your 30-day free trial of Amazon Prime. inspireddisorder.com/Prime. Sign up now. New episodes come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork and merchandise now available over at inspireddisorder.com. Follow this show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!